guys, this is Adam Shadow, and this behind me is probably the best possible gold and XP farm in Minecraft. As you can see, it uses large nether portals on the overworld side to spawn zombie pigmen. They are then pushed by these pistons down into the water stream, where you can kill them at the end, or they die by the water itself. The portals are destroyed by these dispensers and then rebuilt by these fire sources here and the wooden planks on the other side, because the wooden planks catch fire and then ignites the portal again. This design is very user friendly because it just uses one row of the wooden planks. It doesn't use hay bales because hay bales might catch on fire much quicker and therefore get destroyed. And when you run on these glass panes, you can easily rebuild the wooden planks if you lose some of them, but it's extremely rare that you lose them. The row of pistons is activated by this redstone. It's not the probably most lag efficient way to do it, but this machine doesn't need to be activated very often. Unlike other mob farms, you can activate it maybe once an hour or once 2 hours, and therefore the lag it's causing is not a big deal. And redstone is very cheap, therefore this design is very cheap, except of course the obsidian you have to mine. This detector here detects when the portal is destroyed by this dispenser with the water bucket, and then activates the dispenser again. Therefore the water gets sucked into the dispenser back. This middle part you can really see well. There are 3 pistons on the opposite side of each dispenser. They block the water from spreading when the portal is destroyed. They are activated before this dispenser, and they are basically they work like block update detectors. Once the portal gets destroyed and these pistons are powered, they will immediately extend and therefore prevent the water from flowing around, because water is random thing based and therefore it can sometimes flow around. Now I will show you how it works when I set my difficulty to something like that it's not peaceful. And as you can see, the zombie pigmen start to spawn. This is actually 10 times random tick speed, therefore they spawn quite quickly. Normally you would have to make this a lot larger so to make them spawn very often. As you can see, they have the advantage that they very slowly despawn when you are next to the farm. You actually don't need to be so close to it as with other zombie pigmen farms, because this doesn't use the pathing or the aggroing of the zombie pigmen to get them killed. It just uses pistons, so you can be 128 blocks away from the farm. It's a bit more complicated than that, but 128 blocks is a good value. To show it, now I will show you how it runs. You can see that this middle part is activated a bit earlier than this bottom part. This bottom part is a 6 game tick pulse from this button, and here it is just using a very long pulse created by the button. You can see that here are just 4 game ticks of delay, and here are 6, and also these pistons, so this one activates earlier. When I now trigger it, you can see it was very quick, but as I explained you, the water destroys the portals, then the pistons push the zombie pigmen inside, and then the thing ignites again. The nice thing about these portals is that there can be a lot of zombie pigmen spawned in one portal, so you don't need to, as I mentioned, activate it very often. So you can see there are like 4 of them right now in this one and nothing happens. Here you can just stay like this and hit them with your sword, or you can let them fall some blocks, and when you hit the first of them, they will actually aggro to you and run to you, so then you can even use this as a traditional zombie pigman farm when you have a lot of these portals and you produce a lot of zombie pigmen at once. Now I will show you how to build this design. The easiest way to make this larger is simply extend it into this direction, so place these portals next to each other. You can also place it above. Placing it to the side is a bit more tricky because you have to place these pistons like this, so you save space, and then you also have to move the entire portal higher. Of course, these pistons can be here, here at the top somewhere, or a bit lower. And I accidentally activated it. So you can see this sometimes may happen, even to you, but these wooden planks, they don't burn very quickly, so it's not a big deal. You can also put the pistons down here and however you want to, so you can stack it next to each other, but that's quite complicated. Unless you want to make it really huge and fill the entire space around you with this farm, you can just make it a bit more compact and also more simple for you by making it longer. As you can see, some of you might have already spotted it, but these portals are actually not the square ones. These are just rectangles, because the range of redstone is actually lower than the size of the portals, therefore it has to be like this. It's still very space efficient. So now I will build this. Need some blocks, some slabs, the dispenser. So we can start the same way as it is here. But to measure this exact distance, I will use a redstone block for now. And here the signal already stops. Now we do the same thing on the other side. But now we don't need to measure it again. Now we have to build the portal itself. Okay, so it's one block more than it is important to measure even at least twice before you build something, because then mistakes like this can happen when you try to build it really quickly. I have already built a couple of these machines before. I still make sometimes mistakes. Now we want to make this part, the detector part. It has to be actually on the opposite side. You can see here, and here, this one is down there, and this one is right here. So it's not on the same position. I'll do it like this for now, and you can switch the sides if you want to. The reason actually why these detectors are above these blocks is because if you would put them here, like this, you can see they will be activated by the redstone itself. So it's better to put them above the solid block. Now we do this part. You don't have to build it in the exact order as I do. It's not important. As long as the final product looks the same. You also don't need to use slabs here. You can use full blocks. It also doesn't matter at all what you use. I just use slabs because generally you consider slabs to be cheaper. So you can see the minimum amount of blocks or resources you need for this. It's a bit tricky to build these pistons. Especially when you do them later, like I do right now, and not build them first. And now the last part, and that is the blocking of the water. Here you can nicely see how you have to place the piston, the pistons over on the opposite side as the dispenser. Now when the dispenser is activated, the water cannot flow anywhere except this one block to destroy the portal, which is very important because when, as you saw previously, when the water spikes, it some of the wooden planks here might get destroyed. This is just to prevent that. If you want to really make this the most lag efficient design, you would have to use rails and observer blocks. But that's not the best option, I think, because you won't really gain much by optimizing this for lags, since you can just trigger the pistons like maybe once an hour or something like that, so I don't doubt that it's worth it. and it would cost a lot more resources and effort. It would be less compact, it would be harder to stack these parts next to each other. It is important that all of these repeaters have the same delay. You can actually put the larger delays if you, because when there is a low delay, it will just activate a lot of these machines if you have them in a row in a very short period of time, and that might not be what you want because it might lag out your client or something like that. Now we just place the nether egg and it's almost done. You actually don't need an entire row of this, but I think it's just super simple to build, and also it's quite fast. You can actually use even multiple rows if you want to, but that's really hard to check if the planks or hay bales or whatever gets burnt, and replace it. And now this is it. I will show you how to make this water stream down here. I'll turn off the annoying rain. Here you want to put 2 blocks so that zombie pigmen don't jump accidentally. Also, if you want to, you can seal these gaps so baby zombies don't run around in your farm. I don't think it's generally a big deal because they, when you stack a bunch of these next to each other, they either stand on this block or they jump again down on the obsidian, so they get pushed. So I don't think it's worth it. But if you want to make a super like optimized design, now we take some water. You can use for this fence gates or signs or whatever. So basically just some blocks that don't have a hitbox and don't get moved. They don't get removed by water and they don't block the mobs. Oh well, not like this. Here on the top, so the zombie pigmen don't get stuck anywhere in the water stream. And now you can make here some sort of nice killing chamber for the mobs, so you can stand here and kill them. I can show you that it works. See, already some of them start spawning. You don't need to use here a button. You can also use a clock for this, but you have to make a clock that cycles long enough pulse. I can show you a nice design for that. Just put a bunch of repeaters at maximum delay into a loop. This has the advantage that it's really simple to build, as you can see, but it will stop working when you unload this clock, so be careful. You can also use just a standard hopper clock for this. See, there's about 2 or 3 repeaters, and the mobs start falling into the killing chamber, and you can easily just take a sword and kill them, or just aggro them and kill them by suffocating or something like that, or even like here by maximum mob cramming or entity cramming. You can see I'm hitting all of them. I'm getting some golden swords, rotten flesh obviously, and golden nuggets. This is not even using looting or anything like that. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe this video. Bye!